What's up?
Today's topic. So today we're going to talk about debt reduction.
Yep. Debt reduction is super important for those who have either maxed out their credit cards, racked up a lot of student loan debt. Definitely, for those who need help getting a home or some type of mortgage or, avoiding collections, any situation where debt could plague you. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, you know me, I'm all about no debt.
Right.
And I'm a guy suffering from the disease of debt right now, but it's okay. I'm gonna be cured soon. But I mean, at the end of the day, you will not have access to all your money as long as you owe somebody. As long as you owe somebody, Discover Card is going with you to work. Sally Mae is going with you to work. Navient is going with you to work. Ford Motor Credit is going with you to work. And I don't want that. So what happens a lot of time in this life is we try to get caught up in keeping up with others, right? So now we're going to work and now we need more money at work because we have to pay for this car we couldn't afford, or this house we couldn't afford, or this credit card bill for clothes we couldn't afford, or food we couldn't afford, right, or a vacation we couldn't afford. So if we start looking at our money like, how can I have more of the money I already have? Whether that's getting a CPA to pay a smaller tax bill, right? That's a way to keep more of your money. And also reducing your debt and not having all these monthly payments. I mean, just imagine a life, right, where all you pay is insurance, tax, utilities.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, I feel like the average person is probably paying a mortgage or some type of rent. And I understand your point of view, and that's definitely the goal. But when you look at all of America, you're probably going to have rent, a car note. You're probably going to have, a mortgage, your utilities. And, debt reduction is definitely something that, people should look into. But from my perspective, staying away from the credit card usage, staying away from hanging out with people that want to blow money fast, stay away from, trying to impress people on Instagram, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I personally try to, pay the lowest balance if I can, because that's probably the best way to get out of debt. Right? Mm-hmm. And what's that called? The snowball effect?
That's a debt snowball strategy.
Right.
Okay, so wait, one more question. I can't let you get away with this. I
What
gotta ask you. How would your life be if all you paid was insurance, taxes, and utilities?
Oh, I'd be a rich man. I probably wouldn't be here sitting. No, I'm just playing.
All right. But we can agree that that's a desirable life.
Yeah, 100%. I just feel like sometimes it sounds like more of a dream than it is reality.
It doesn't have to be a dream. It can be reality. We can all be debt free.
We could be. But that means you would have to make more money. That means you would have to spend less than you make. And a lot of people don't want to do that. That means that you can't necessarily have children. That means you can't take on your spouse's debt. That means a lot of situations have to play into that. You can't take out student loans to perpetuate yourself and advance your career. So how can someone be debt free truly if they didn't come from money?
Okay. I hear what you're saying, and I will save that rant for another episode because if I get started, I'll go on and on. But
Sure.
To simply answer that question is you just have to have a plan.
Okay.
That's it. Have a plan.
I don't disagree with that.
I didn't say you can't take student loans, but my recommendation is you shouldn't take out student loans greater than half of your expected salary upon graduation.
That's fair.
That if you follow that rule or if you get close to that number, I think you'll be able to pay that off within a year or two, and it'll be like nothing ever happened. I don't have any problem with that. But, taking out high amounts of debt that far exceeds what you'll ever make working that job, to me, just isn't a good business move. At that point, you don't need to go to an expensive school to make 30-something thousand a year. Maybe you should go to the local state university. Maybe you should do a couple of years at junior college to save money. But that's a rant for another day.
Sure.
And I know what you guys came here for, and that's strategies on how you can reduce debt. And like he spoke about, this is both the strategy that we subscribe to, and that is the debt snowball. So the debt snowball does a number of things, right? I think the biggest thing the debt snowball does, which makes it better than the debt avalanche, which we will discuss next, is the psychological aspect.
Right.
Seeing that you paid off a debt and it's gone. Now you're seeing progress. Now you're motivated to keep paying off debt. And that's what you're going to need to have that gazelle-like intensity to pay off all your debt. Right? But the thing that does for you financially is you're paying a payment every month on every debt you own, right? At least that's the assumption here.
Sure.
Unless you're ready to go to collections. And what the debt snowball allows you to do is to take one thing, you pay it off. It's $40 a month was the minimum payment on this credit card. You were paying $100 a month to get it through, but you still didn't get it through. Bam, you threw some money at it, you knocked it out. Now that's an extra $100 a month you have to put towards the next smallest bill. You pay that off. Now you combine those two payments and put it on the third smallest bill and the fourth. And it's just a snowball of more and more money you have available to pay off debt. And what that does in time, it psychologically keeps you engaged, and it also gives you more money to put towards debt reduction every month.
Yeah, I have a personal story about that. A few years back, I decided to, get some credit cards, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to stay fresh. I wanted to buy these Yeezys. And,
yeah, you got them.
And, I got them. I got them. I wanted to do my thing. So, I looked into how can I pay off my debt? And, I just focused on the smallest, credit card balances that I had at the time. And, once I paid off, say for instance, it was, $1,000, $250, $300, $250, another $250. And then I finally got that payment down to zero. That gave me the confidence that I needed. And so without that, I wouldn't be where I am today. So that's the reason why I like the snowball effect, because I personally have used it and it's got me out of my credit card situation that I was in. Definitely a great approach to paying off your debts.
Now, for all the haters, they're going to say, Devin, that's not smart. You need to pay off the highest interest rate first. Well, that leads us into the next strategy. That is the debt avalanche. So that is the debt reduction strategy where you line up your debts from highest interest rate to lowest, and you pay off the highest interest rate one first, because that debt is costing you more money theoretically.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So here's my thing. You can use any debt strategy you want as long as you're getting out of debt and not just talking about it. Because see, with the debt snowball, you're going to do less talking because you're going to be out of debt. At least one of those debts are going to go away.
Exactly.
Right? But again, I won't show my bias. But yeah, so you line them up from highest interest rate to lowest. And what that does is it allows you to pay the least amount for paying off your debts. Right? Theoretically. Now, my issue with the debt avalanche is this. What if your highest interest rate is your biggest debt? And it's going to take you 3 years to pay off that highest interest rate. You're going to give up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a confidence booster when you have, say for instance, $5,000 to $6,000 on that credit card and you're trying to pay that off, and you have other credit cards that you're trying to pay off at the same time. You're not going to gain that confidence in that method that you are on the snowball, because if you were to pay off that $1,000 credit card and you had that $5,000 sitting there, maybe you can then, and I'm not advising anybody to do this, but you could definitely do a balance transfer, and then you could also play the snowball game again with yourself to gain that confidence. As long as you're paying off your debt, as Chris said, you're in the right place, in the right position.
Actually, I have no issue with the transfer. I mean, that's cool because you might get 0% interest for a while. So that's actually a good idea. But just this whole concept of like for example, I was in a position where, okay, I had this awakening. I was like, okay, I do not want to be in debt anymore.
Yeah.
Outside of my home, right? I'm okay with a mortgage. You gotta live somewhere. So I had my student loans and I had my car. My car loans interest rate was lower than my student loans.
Okay.
Almost by double. But my car loan, it was feasible for me to pay that off. And a lot of people told me, don't pay that off. Put all that money towards your student loan. But you know what the issue with that would be? I will still be paying that car note to this day.
Okay.
If I did it that way, I would still be paying towards that car note, and I'll be still trying to chip away at the student loans. I would be anywhere near done with my student loans.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I feel like in my case, and I mean that's a great strategy, but in my case, I felt like how much can I take away from my 2-week pay that I have to constantly pay every single month? So I'm like, all right, well, I can definitely chip this away.
Yeah.
Boom. Minimum payment, $40, $50.
That's gone.
Boom, gone. Right? So then I'm like, okay, now I can attack some of the higher, 125, 175. Okay, cool. Now I'm down to $75 on a monthly payment that I have. So, like you said, come up with something, come up with a plan, whether it be snowball or the avalanche. Either way, it's a great idea.
Yeah, because to speak more to mine, because when I had this awakening, I had no credit card debt. I long believed in having no credit card debt, so I was just left with the car, house, and student loans.
Okay.
So, I don't have any regrets, man. And that's it, man. I mean, you want to pay off some debt avalanche, debt snowball.
Okay.
Young Equity Podcast says debt snowball.
Yeah, but definitely debt snowball. What do you think about paying a little extra on your mortgage every single month? For instance, if you have a mortgage payment of $1,200, right? Maybe pay off, add an extra $100 every single month. Then that's $1,200 at the end of the year. That could probably potentially, save anywhere from 3 to 5 years. Take 3 to 5 years off of your mortgage.
Yep.
If you were to add just an extra mortgage payment per year. So now you're looking at a 25-year mortgage versus a 30-year.
You know what? I actually do that. So I pay one extra payment a year.
Okay.
Because I pay my mortgage every 2 weeks. I pay half of my mortgage every 2 weeks, and that comes out to one extra payment a year.
Seriously? I thought I was the only person that did that.
Yeah.
You have the bi-weekly payments? Yeah, same here.
Yes.
I need to know what's coming up.
Yep. I got to keep it consistent, so it's no big deal to me.
Yeah.
Because, I have it lined up before when I get paid. But, I mean, my thing is that I'm cool with an every 2-week payment. But, I mean, if you're in debt, and this is, maybe I'm being a hypocrite, but maybe instead of using that extra payment towards the house, you could use it towards your debt. But every 2-week payment, as long as you can afford it, I don't see the harm in that.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But now paying it off rapid, like, oh, your mortgage is $1,200 and you're putting in $1,800, $2,400 a month. Nah, no. Your mortgage, just don't worry about that. Yeah. Right? There's certain tax advantages with paying interest on your mortgage and all that you don't get on that other debt. So it's just not wise, in my opinion.
Sure.
Respectfully.
Right. But I mean, if you don't have, say for instance, for the lucky people that don't have credit card debt, right? Mm-hmm. And for the lucky people that don't have student loan debt, and you want to pay off your mortgage quicker without, dropping these lump sums, then, I definitely recommend adding an extra mortgage payment every year.
Yep.
Another thing that you could do, and some people choose not to do this, I have no idea why, but when you get your tax refund, right, definitely, use that money, maybe replenish some of your savings, but use that money to pay off your debts. What do you think about that, Chris?
Man, that's going to take us in a whole nother discussion if I answer fully, but my short answer is you should not be getting a tax refund.
Yeah, but some people have tax refunds.
Figure, okay, if you got a big tax refund last year, you need to go to your HR department and you need to set up your deductions or whatever to the amount that'll bring you as close to zero as possible at the end of the year.
You're talking about the allowances?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think people should have at least 1 or 2 allowances so they can get more money throughout the year than versus getting a tax refund?
Whatever will make it to where you don't owe or you owe very little, because actually they're getting, interest-free money out of you.
Okay.
So you're getting this $4,000 or $5,000 tax refund. Yeah, they made some money off you.
Sure, but for the average person that gets a tax refund.
But wouldn't you rather have $4,000 or $5,000 extra throughout the year to pay your bills?
I don't disagree with that. I'm not talking about me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for the average listener in America, they're gonna get a tax refund at the end of the day.
Yeah, they are.
Right. So definitely take that money and put it towards your debts. That's something that you can get a large lump sum at the end, or around March or April, whenever you get it, and then use that towards your debt reduction.